This presentation will be about the Japanese political party system. Because there are no laws regulating the establishment of political parties in Japan, there are many active groups, but most don't have enough seats in the National Diet, which is the bicameral legislature, to heavily influence policy. Currently in power is the Liberal Democratic Party, or LDP for short, which elected Shinzo Abe as the prime minister. Political parties first appeared in Japan after the Meiji Restoration in the 1860s and grew in importance until they were overshadowed by the military in the 1930s and then dissolved in the 1940s during World War II. After the Japanese surrender at the end of World War II in 1945, there was political confusion for the following decade, and the party system was highly fluid, with new parties coming and going throughout this time. In 1955, the Liberal Democratic Party was established, and the 1955 system became known as the one-and-a-half-party system because the LDP was in power and the Japanese Socialist Party was unable to form an alternative as the only major opposition party. The LDP oversaw Japan's recovery from World War II and acted as the more conservative alternative to the growing socialist and communist parties that were emerging post-war. Scandals within the LDP caused it to lose its majority in the National Diet in the 1993 election before it regained control in 1994. There was another lapse in its power between 2009 and 2012 when the Democratic Party of Japan took over, but it has held the majority in the legislature since then. The LDP is considered a center to right-wing party. It supports U.S. foreign policy as well as low taxes and the development of Japanese industry through government subsidies. Allied with the LDP is Komeito, which was initially center-left but has shifted toward the right as a part of the LDP's governing coalitions. When the Democratic Party of Japan was in power between 1998 and 2016, it was a centrist party that was founded by politicians from the center-left and center-right. Japan also has an active Communist Party, which is the oldest political party in the country. It was legalized after World War II and opposes nuclear power and the U.S. Security Alliance. This image shows the breakdown of seats in the lower house of the National Diet in 2012 and 2014. As you can see, the governing coalition was made up by the LDP and Komeito. The Democratic Party of Japan held the next highest number of seats, and the Innovation Party, or Japan Restoration Party as it was known in 2012, was a right-wing conservative party that has since dissolved. Another important note is that the voter turnout rate in Japan is quite low, with only 52.7% of the eligible voting population casting votes in the 2014 election. Uyoku Dantai is the umbrella term for ultranationalist far-right groups in Japan. There are estimated to be about 1,000 of them, with 100,000 members across the country. The common philosophies of these groups include wanting to retain the character of the nation, anti-communism, and seeking to justify Japan's role in World War II and denying war crimes committed by the military. Because freedom of ideology is protected by the Constitution, they are able to use highly visible forms of propaganda to spread their message. My discussion questions are, what are the advantages and disadvantages of having many different political parties as opposed to a two-party system, and is there any relationship between this and Japan's low voter turnout rate?